It's great to see all the networking taking place. That's one of the big benefits of being a member of the Greater Houston Partnership is we have a chance to network. I really am glad to see that taking place, but now we need to take our seats and get our lunch started. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Greater Houston Partnership's State of the Metro Luncheon. I'm Dan Bello, Chairman of the Greater Houston Partnership, and we are honored to have Metro Chairman and Partnership Board Member David Wolf as our speaker today. In many ways, and I know most of you in this room know this, infrastructure is the lifeline of the Houston region. We're getting there. The economy and the quality of life for our residents is tied directly to the efficiency of this region's transportation system. The partnership considers transportation a top priority and is actively engaged in policy and funding issues on the local, state, and federal level affecting all modes of transportation. You know, projections indicate that our region's going to double its population within the next 20 years. And given that, we cannot rely solely on roads to accommodate this growth. Expansion of our transit systems must be part of the solution. Fortunately, under David's leadership, Metro is moving forward to help address our mobility challenges. Over the next few years, Metro will add five new light rail lines, and they've already broken ground on 2 of them. We'll also see improvements to our park and ride facilities and bus route enhancements, like the addition of signature service on the most popular lines. These are only a few examples of how Metro is reshaping the face of Houston. We're excited to hear what Metro has in store for us today and for our community, and we'll be back in just a few minutes after you enjoy your lunch to hear David's comments and what the state of the Metro is for Houston today. Please enjoy your lunch and thank you for joining us.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're enjoying your lunch and conversation, but with respect to your time, if we're going to hear from our distinguished speaker and recognize our dignitaries, it's time for us to start the program. So I'd ask for your cooperation as we begin our proceedings. Good afternoon. Obviously, by your presence today, you've shown your enthusiasm for Metro and its mission in our community, and we thank you all for your attendance and your support. My name is Jim Dannenbaum. I'm chairman of the Partnership's Transportation and Infrastructure Policy Advisory Committee, and our committee, along with the Partnership's Transit Planning Committee, chaired by Sam Lott, has worked together with Metro in promoting our region's need for expanded and improved transit service. I want to recognize our region's elected officials who could be with us today or in attendance, and the people who give so much of their time and service to our community and who all have transportation on their minds. Beginning with City of Houston officials, we have Council Member Tony Lawrence from District A. Tony. And Sue Lovell, Council Member Position 2 at large. From the Metro Board of Directors, who will be more properly introduced in a minute, David Wolf, Chairman, Gerald Smith, Vice Chairman. Gerald, would you stand up and take a bow? Terrence Fontaine. Trini Mendenhall. And C. Jim Stewart III. Jim? From the region, we have council members Brian Rowland from Prairie View. Brian? And we have former Harris County Judge and still distinguished transportation leader and activist Robert Eccles. Robert? And from the Consular Corps, with whom Partnership has a great relationship and whose support we appreciate in all of our activities and the participation of international companies in Metro's programs, we have His Excellency Miguel Mazarambros, Consul General of Spain. I believe that if I've missed any dignitaries from the sign-in list, please, everybody in this room is a distinguished Houstonian, but if I've missed elected or appointed officials, please stand up and let us recognize you now. If not, I want to recognize the head table guests. We have Chairman David Wolf from Metro, Mary Wolf, his bride and supporter of all of his civic and volunteer activities, their daughter, Carolyn Doros. Carolyn, glad to have you with us. Frank Wilson, President and CEO of Metro. Frank. Chairman Dan Bello, my boss and chairman of the Greater Houston Partnership. Chip Carlisle, President of the Texas region of Wells Fargo and former chairman of the Partnership Board. Chip. Steve Swanson, Vice President of Account Management for United Healthcare. And last but certainly not least, Jeff Mosley, the President and CEO of the Greater Houston Partnership. I'd like to ask our Partnership Board of Directors that are present to stand and be recognized for the work that you do all year long on behalf of the partnership. Directors. It goes without saying that the work of the volunteers in the partnership could not take place if it were not for the outstanding support of our staff. Jeff sets the tone and the culture from the top, and in our particular committee area, Teresa Rodriguez does a fabulous job of helping us to coordinate all the initiatives that your Transportation Committee is trying to work on. I'm informed that Mayor Alan Owen, Mayor of Missouri City, has joined us, and we're glad. Mayor, where are you? Finally, I want to recognize our sponsors without whom this event would not be possible. The Bank of America Merrill Lynch, United Healthcare, and Wells Fargo. I think two of those executives have been introduced, but Dalton, will you stand up and take a bow as well? Our silver sponsors are Andrews Kurth, LLP, Arup, Dannenbaum Engineering Corporation, the Houston Contractors Association, Malcolm Perney, Inc., and Metro. And our bronze sponsors are AECOM, PGAL, Reliant Energy, and Traffic Engineers, Inc. let's thank all of our sponsors for supporting this event. Now it's my honor and privilege to give a proper introduction to my fellow partnership board member and our keynote speaker for today, David Wolf. Those of you that are students of history in general and politics in particular may recall that in the last century there was a famous Texan named Colonel House, who was an advisor to presidents, governors, and other statesmen. I think in this century there are a few people that would deserve that designation and that title so well as our Metro Board Chairman, David Wolf, who's an extremely wise man and whose opinion and counsel and support is widely sought at all levels of government. David was appointed to the Metro Board by the City of Houston and named chairman in 2004. He's chairman and president of the Wolf Companies, a Houston-based holding company which manages his activities and investments in real estate development, financial assets, professional sports, and agriculture. I'm told that he and Drayton and Steinbrenner are going to draw straws to see who wins the World Series next year. And having been born in Philadelphia, it was Houston's good luck to have David Wolf come here. He graduated with honors from Amherst College in 1962, an MBA from Harvard Business School in 1964. He served as a trustee of Amherst College and is presently a trustee emeritus. He's been an advisor to the faculty of Harvard Business School in the development of the study of entrepreneurship, which he exemplifies so well. And he was chairman of their record-setting 35th reunion capital campaign of his Harvard Business School class. He performed his military service for the U.S. Coast Guard and subsequently as a commissioned officer in the U.S. Navy, joining such other famous Texans as Ross Perot, Charlie Wilson, and a few others in having served that branch. David founded Wolf Morgan and Company in 1970, which evolved into the Wolf Companies in 1985, and he's guided that company to its position as Houston's largest developer of office, business, and industrial parks, as well as sites for healthcare, hotels, and multifamily. He's a partner in the San Francisco Giants and the AT&T Park in San Francisco. His agricultural interests include a 1,678-acre working cattle ranch in Independence, Texas, which is well chosen given his political leadership. And he's operated for 37 years at that ranch, and he has vineyards in the Napa Valley of California. During his 38 years in Houston, David has worked on many community endeavors, including the West Houston Association, which he co-founded and then chaired for 6 years, the Houston Parks Board, on which he served for 12 years, including 2 terms as chairman, and the Houston Grand Opera, where he was vice president and chairman, not surprisingly, of the Finance Committee. Mr. Wolf has been chairman of Metro since February 2004 and is currently a director of the Greater Houston Partnership. David and his wife Mary have been married for 37 years, have 2 daughters, one of whom we're pleased to have with us today, 2 sons-in-law, and 3 granddaughters. In his leadership role at Metro, David has helped move Metro Solutions Phase 2 from a plan to reality, and we're honored to have him. Please join me in welcoming Chairman David Wolf.
Thank you very much, Jim. I think it's only fitting that the partnership be sponsoring this event, giving Metro an opportunity to tell you where we are and where we believe we're going. The partnership has been a consistent partner of ours in this effort. Anytime we've needed Jeff Mosley to help us out, whether it's testifying at a public hearing, writing letters, emphasizing that we're all in this together, working towards a common goal, the partnership has been terrific, and I appreciate that. Once in talking with former Houston Mayor Bob Lanier, he told me that when he was appointed chairman of Metro, the then general manager, Alan Keeper, told him, "What's required for this job is a thick skin and a short memory." Mayor Lanier responded, "Well, the problem is I have a thin skin and a long memory." To which Alan Keeper responded, "I predict much unhappiness." I have to tell you that my predecessor in this job was my good friend Arthur Schechter. Arthur said, "You know, this is the worst job I ever had." I've got to tell you, though, that Arthur's previous job was the United States ambassador to the Bahamas. So he may have been coming from a slightly different perspective. See if I can get this slide projector to work. There we go. Metro, as you probably know, was established by a vote in 1978 when the citizens of Houston and Harris County voted to impose upon themselves a 1-cent sales tax to lead to the creation, development, and operation of a first-class transit authority. Since that time, a lot of good people, boards, management, employees have worked hard to move towards that goal. And during that time, there have also been some false starts. However, I do want to dwell on some of the accomplishments of the boards that preceded us. Metro's mission, of course, is to provide a transit system to serve all the citizens of our region, to enhance mobility, to reduce traffic congestion, to improve air quality. What did we inherit when we came on in this board in 2004? We inherited a referendum that had narrowly passed, 52 to 48. We were given a mission without much more than an outline of lines on paper, that is, to finance, develop, and build 5 light rail lines, to cause a major increase in bus service, and we were pretty much told, "Here, go make it happen." Unfortunately, at that time, we also inherited a very divided and contentious congressional delegation, which had led the Federal Transit Administration and the federal government to stay far away from Houston when it came to transit funding. The Main Street line had just been launched. It was finished on time in January 2004 in time for the Super Bowl, and was finished on budget. But it took $324 million out of Metro's treasury, pretty much sapping the treasury, because all the money had to be local funds. There were some negative impacts of the construction process for the Main Street line. It had been built from end to end, causing a lot of negative impacts on the neighborhoods over 3 years. And of course, you all remember when it was opened, accidents were a challenge. Little did we know then that this new line would become the most successful light rail line ever developed in the United States. And I give tremendous credit to the prior board, to the chair, to the board members, and to Shirley DeLibero for making it happen. For without that, we wouldn't have the base on which to build today.